नदी में तलब है कहीं जो अगर समंदर कहाँ दूर है दमक की गरज है सोने में अगर तो जलना भी मंजूर है एक उड़ान कब तक यूं कैद रहेगी रोको ना छोड़ दो इसे एक उड़ान ही सपनों को जिंदगी देगी सपनों से जोड़ दो इसे
Hi Pune, this is Tushar again from Youngsutra. खुल के बोल खुल के बोल इसलिए क्योंकि हम हर बार कुछ नया करने की कोशिश करते हैं और इस बार हम लोग ऐसे एक एपिसोड के साथ आए हैं जो हर एक का ख्वाब है हर कोई ऊंचाइयां छूना चाहता है और ऐसा ही एक करियर है जो हमेशा ऊंचाइयां छूता है और वो है बीइंग अ पायलट एंड वी आर हियर विद Rahul Shivhare.
Hello everybody, my name is Rahul Shivhare and I'm a commercial pilot flying for a private owner in Pune. My aircraft type is Gulfstream 550, which is a long range corporate jet. I am from Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh, and I started my flying career in 2006.
You said you're from Gwalior,
Yes.
right? I just want to emphasize on this fact that it doesn't mean that if you're from a small town, you can't achieve heights. Being a pilot, what are the challenges you have faced until date?
Challenges are, just to start with, just to get the first job is the biggest challenge one will ever have.
When did you feel that you will be a pilot?
I started after my 12th. I wanted to be I wanted to join Indian Navy as a pilot, but then I commenced commercial pilot career. That's it.
Who inspired you or who ignited you to get into this profession?
Well, one of my family cousin who was a fighter jet pilot flying MiG-29s for Indian Navy.
Okay.
And that is how looking at him always inspired me to be a pilot since I was a kid.
Now, you seems to be a very disciplined guy, and I've seen you very closely. That's the reason I can say that. So, how does it help you being a pilot?
I was in a boarding school from when I was a kid. So discipline probably started from there because it's inculcated. I like to be on time always, So that is where I think there was a beginning. But one has to always be very conscious about how to keep yourself focused, and discipline is one of the most important things about it.
So, does that mean you are always disciplined?
No, not really. But whenever it's required during my profession, yes, it is required, and I have to be.
So, you enjoy your personal life as well, being a pilot?
Yes, very much.
Very. As normal youngsters, what the myth behind being a pilot is like you need to spend a lot of money, you need to be having a higher education, and you need to have a lot of financial background. So is that true? What people think about it?
Yeah, that's quite true.
Okay.
It's not a myth. You need a lot of financial support. Your expenses will come down to 50 to 60 lakhs to get into some airline. First you spend about 25-26 lakh rupees to get your license, commercial license, and then getting a job is another big problem now because there's so many unemployed people. Because there's so many people who did it without realizing what they're getting into. So if you really are interested, then you must have a very strong financial backup.
Okay, in case someone who doesn't have a financial background, do you mean to say that this field doesn't belong to them?
Yes,
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
So
There was a time, I mean, 5 years ago, sorry, not even 5 years ago, when I finished in 2007, I had to take a loan and heavy loan, and at that time it was okay. But these days, even after you finish your training, then airlines you have to pay for your own training, which costs about 25-30 lakh rupees, and it does not guarantee your job in most of the cases. So maintaining the currencies every 6 months, you have to maintain your checks. Every 1 year you have to maintain your checks. So it costs a lot of money. So if someone does not have a financial backup, I would never recommend anybody trying to get into it.
Okay, those who are watching, this is a very valuable input. Yes, definitely it needs a lot of financial support. But again, Rahul would also agree to my point. Is like your dreams, any dream is achievable. Many people aspire to be a pilot. Like even in my younger age, like whenever I used to see a plane flying, I wanted to be a pilot. You go to any youngster or anyone, the second hobby or second passion is want to be a pilot. Is this industry so big that it can accommodate so many passionate pilots or other passionate people who want to join this industry?
Well, the honest answer is absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay. What is the real condition? What is the ground realities now?
That keeps changing over a period of time. You know, sometimes there are highs, sometimes there are low. Right now, it's going pretty stable, and you know all the companies are doing all right, and a lot of pilots are getting opportunities. But mostly now, every company is looking for people with experience. But to build experience, you need to start from somewhere. Unfortunately, in India, we don't have a lot of opportunities where people can go fly a smaller aircraft or join a company where they can just get some flying hours. In India, everything is very restricted, and that is why you don't get a lot of opportunities like Western countries where they have private jets and private small aircrafts to just go and get a job, first job to get into an airline. So that is something which we lack, but I think over a period of time, the way things are changing, I think that should be fine after some time. But still, I don't know the exact number, how many pilots get absorbed every year, but last 2-3 years, a lot of airlines started, Vistara, AirAsia, and there are a couple of airlines in South which they started. So they did absorb a lot of pilots, but still not the number of pilots which are doing the training and coming out of the flight schools versus number of pilots who actually are desired to get into an airline the proportion is very not in balance.
Okay.
So I mean, when I checked it a couple of years ago, now I think there are about 12,000 commercial pilot licenses which have been issued, probably more. Okay. I'm not sure of the exact figures, but out of them only 30, maybe 20% have got the jobs.
Okay.
And in future, it's getting even more difficult because your license, keeping the license current is the biggest problem, even after you do your training.
Okay, now coming back to your career where you started. Now I've seen a lot of youngsters pursuing their graduation and then going and doing a pilot course. But as far as you is concerned, you did your 12th standard and then you pushed off for pilot course, I guess.
Yes, I did, and it was demanding at that time, and everybody with the commercial pilot license was getting a job. So for me, at that time, it made more sense for me to finish my pilot training first, and now I'm pursuing my aviation degree.
Okay, how far it is important for you to keep a good health?
Yeah, you need to be physically fit because you have to go through the medical exam every 6 months. Every 6 months after 40 years, but if you're below 40 years, then it's 12 months.
Okay.
And they have very high standards for your medical fitness.
Okay.
So it is kind of very important to keep yourself in shape. Okay. And it is not just to do with the weight or anything, but overall physical fitness.
Okay. One more question, but on a humorous side, does this attract a lot of girl towards you?
Well, not really. No.
Not really. Because I've seen this craze of pilots, and especially the female.
Well, that is women to do with men in uniform, but I mean, I don't have personal experience with that, so I would not. I would refrain to comment on it.
He just got married, so he's being too modest. Why did you do your licensing, or rather your first stepping stone from US rather than in India?
Well, at that time, when I did it in 2007, I went to US for my training. The scenario in India was not very nice in terms of flight school because there were too many students and very few instructors and very few aircrafts to do your flying every day. So that was one reason I decided to do it abroad. Plus the cost of training was coming out to be the same in India and abroad. So I thought it'll give me another exposure because after I come back to India, I'll be flying in India. But it'll be a different experience to go fly in a different country and where the aviation actually was born and grew up.
Okay, but is it really different from what Indian aviation industry and the industry in abroad?
I don't know about India because I did not do my training here, but as far as I know, there is no specific syllabus that one has to follow here. Whereas in US, they have specific syllabus throughout your training, what you do and when you do it. So you know exactly what you're doing when you're going for your flight next time, and you know what to prepare for. It is quite systematic, I would say.
How would you rate Indian aviation training and US training as of now? Now you must have seen youngsters coming in and joining from India as well as from abroad who are taking training.
Well, training in India is also fantastic. There is no doubt that the standards of training are the same worldwide. If you're ICAO country, the term is International Civil Aviation Organization. So a lot of countries are affiliated to it, and so the standards are pretty much set. So wherever you go in the world, the standards are same and everybody follows it. Then it's just probably the matter of choice at the moment because in India, even now, they don't have a lot of flight schools where the infrastructure is as compared to United States or Canada or Australia or any other.
What are the good qualities a pilot needs?
You need to be very determined, focused of what you're doing, and make sure that you don't get distracted. You're mentally safe and mentally healthy and physically healthy. That is the primary thing, because if you're going with a burden in your head, you cannot perform. Every flight is a different flight, and you cannot afford to make a small mistake. So
once you join as a pilot, what are the rules and what is the base role and what is the highest role one achieve?
First, most of the airlines you join as a second officer, and
second officer as in a co-pilot?
Yes, you're a co-pilot. You're a co-pilot under training. So when you finish your training, depends. Every company has a different way of defining second officer. But there are 3 different posts: second officer, first officer, and then captain. And thereafter, instructor, examiner, and So those are the different posts.
What is the age limit this industry sets for a pilot?
Age. There's no age limit. When you for captains it's 65 years, and for first officers you can fly till 65, but most of the airlines have their cutoff age limit of 50 to 55.
50 to 55.
Yeah.
As normally any industry has.
Yes.
When you say you have a co-pilot and then you come down to a pilot level and then the captain and the trainer and examiner and all this thing, does your flying hours, means how many hours you fly, matters in these situations?
Yes, our experience is the only thing which matters in this industry. We don't count in terms of number of years, we only count in number of hours.
Okay.
And what kind of experience have we got, whether we got domestic experience, international. So all those things, these are the basics of our experience requirements.
Okay.
We can never say that we work for a company for 10 years or 20 years.
Okay.
It's only a number of hours.
One more thing which is very important is like the license which you get. Like you did your course from USA, and did you get your license from there, or you had to come and opt for a license in India?
You get the license wherever you do the training. You get the license there,
Okay.
and you can have it converted to again one of the all the Commonwealth countries. Wherever you do, you can get your license converted to another country with all the flight experience that you had acquired there. can be used for your benefit here.
Okay. Rahul, what is the current situation of Indian aviation industry, wherein Kingfisher going down, even Air India is under crisis. So, what is the real realities or the ground realities?
Ground reality is quite competitive. You know, the aviation industry has always been very competitive. And again, as I said, it's a very volatile industry. You know, there's always ups and downs. But company like Air India or Indian Airlines, you know, it has a backing of government. So I doubt that it will be, you know, it has to be of any concern in future, I believe. But whereas other companies, yes, Kingfisher, after Kingfisher shut down, there was a huge, there were a lot of pilots which were unemployed. Not just pilots, you know, pilots eventually got the job in different companies, but the other staff, ground staffs and all, you know, for them it was it was a very bad thing to do, you know.
But do you see a growth in the Indian aviation industry?
Yes, the passenger demand is increasing every day now. You know, the railway fare and flight fares are pretty much the same.
Similar.
So everybody likes to save time, and you know, it's so the demand is increasing significantly. But at the moment, we lack infrastructure. We don't have plenty of airports. Cities like Mumbai, Delhi, they're still operating with one airport, which is you know, we end up burning a lot of fuel, and you know, there's a lot of wastage.
Do you carry that fear that I'm going now, I don't know whether I'll come back or not?
No, not really. The fear, I mean, we are the pilots, we are trained, we are trained to handle abnormal situations, we are trained for everything that you may encounter in a flight. But again, there is no one way to do things. You know, if you have encountered a problem, you just have to deal with it. You know, there are set procedures that you follow, and that is so there's nothing to be scared of.
If someone asks me what are my driving hours, so I would say 100 kilometers a day. Now, what are your flying hours?
Well, I've achieved about 1900 hours. 1900 hours in about 8 years. Since I've been flying with corporates, and you know, we don't fly a lot, so.
Okay, can you just draw a line between a private player, or rather a private pilot or a commercial pilot, and a pilot who is flying with commercial flights like Air India or
Commercial. See, we are not private pilots. We have the same license. We acquire the same experience.
Okay.
It's one's personal choice, and you know, depends what lifestyle, what challenges you wanna you know, deal with. So they both have their, you know, ups. They both have their benefits and pros and cons. So there's no difference. You know, you can. I mean, I can go and join airlines. They can come join corporate, and that's how it works.
Okay, you work for some big names. How was the experience working with such giants?
Most of them are very humble. You know, they have their business commitments, and it's their business tool. You know, I mean, it's not. We call it luxury, but their business pretty much runs on their, you know, the way they travel, how comfortable they are, and all that. So it's really a big tool for these guys, and it is going to grow bigger and bigger. As you can see now, the number of private jets in India has gone beyond 250 or something like that. In last couple of years, the growth has been very slow because of the infrastructure again, because a lot of places, the parking spaces and all is not available. So that is why a lot of companies are not buying the aircrafts. But there's definitely a huge demand, and in coming future, it's going to increase further.
I'll share this incident. Like, he shared a Facebook post where he said that he's been through 26 countries, and I just replied back saying that I not even seen 5 countries altogether on a map. So I would ask now, how many countries you've covered?
Well, after that, not much. I've done about 31, 32 countries now. I'll have to really look into it.
Look at him. He's being so casual about it, like 30 or 32 countries.
Well, the world is huge, you know. So, 30 countries is still, there's a lot to go.
Okay, and he also told me that there's one friend of his who has done 126 countries.
180 countries.
180 countries. Do we know that these many countries exist? So
Well, I didn't know about it until he posted.
okay. The career looks very fancy. The career has its own challenges. Like he has very correctly by saying that it is not that easy job what we feel from down. So how difficult it is, like Rahul, when it comes to flying?
Well, it's difficult. The way I measure it, there's no job, as I know, where you have to go for checks and tests every 6 months to prove that you're worthy to fly. So that itself is a big thing. That every 6 months you have to keep doing your checks and tests and make sure that you're current with your flying experience.
Do you miss on your family time in this process?
Well, yes, it's again a give and take. You know, it has the industry gives us back whatever time we miss with the family in terms of they take care of us very well. You know, and that's just something we have to deal with.
So is it a mixture of luxury and hard work?
Yes, it is.
It is.
I mean, it is luxurious, but it is not. I mean, depends what you're in the airlines. You're going to 5-star hotel, but you're just going there to sleep. You know, you get up, you start your routine again. The only reason why they do it is the safety, because if the pilot is not well rested, then it's a big safety hazard, and that is why that is why they put in 5-star or 4-star or whatever. You know, the airlines try to provide a good lifestyle to pilots so they can give it back to the company.
As you are an icon for many, because I've seen many people following you as far as the career is concerned, because you've been at this young age, you have achieved a lot. Kind of flying hours you have, the kind of position, the kind of giants you're working with. So what is that one message you want to give it to the youngsters, or rather the Youngsutra viewers, that what they need to do, or what that correct they need to do to join this particular field as a pilot?
Well, if you're really interested and if you have the financial backing, which again I would quote is a very important aspect, yes, if you have it, and you must have a lot of patience too. So yeah, if you're really interested, after your 12th standard itself, you can go do some flying and then come back, write your exams in India, or if you prefer to do it in India, then you do your flying and then write your exams and then build your experience from there. And after you get your license, commercial pilot license to work commercially, and then you look for whatever job possible you can get, small aircraft, big aircraft, it does not matter. You know, whatever opportunity you get through, just take it and build some hours, and then you can grow from there.
Is this the right approach one should keep? Like, supposedly I go for a license, and then I come back, and I've seen many people not getting through a job also after so many years, like 2 years and 3 years. What is the right approach you would advise to the youngsters?
I don't know if there's any way to call it right approach, but just be focused. You know, because whenever the opportunity comes, you must make the most of it. Because sometimes there are brackets whenever it opens with the airlines. You know, you must grab it. You must be ready. You must be determined. You must be ready for an interview tomorrow. I mean, if you get it. So it shouldn't happen that you get a call and then you're not prepared for it.
How do they hunt for these private players, like the private giants, like Reliance, Z? They have their own aircrafts and all. How do these people approach co-pilots or pilots?
Well, it's corporate, especially mostly they spread the word around and they take people with a lot of recommendations.
Okay.
You know, so unless you are recommended by a lot of different people, they wouldn't risk their principles in somebody's hands.
That is what the Indian aviation industry or the aviation industry worldwide is. Because Rahul has been flying overall almost the globe. He has been traveled around. He has this experience, and the experience has spoken out, or rather, he has spoken his heart out. So take his advice. In case you want any more brief details or in-depth detail about it, or career advice, you're open to call us up, or rather we'll put you through Rahul in terms of career guidance on being a pilot or joining this aviation industry. So Rahul, thank you so much for joining us, joining the Youngsutra team, the Youngsutra viewers.
Guys, please subscribe to Tushar's channel, Youngsutra, because it's the best platform that any youngster can get to get a lot of information about what's happening today, and about a lot of curriculums which may help you in future. It can be a career advice, it can be a sport advice, whatever you have, you have an opportunity, you have a platform to talk it out.
And just for being that extraordinary youngster, I would just want to honor him, or rather, this is the token of appreciation. Our band, which is Youngsutra, and do a great band. Thank you so much. So this is Tushar signing off from Youngsutra for the day. And do subscribe, it's up, and do like our video and do comment. And do approach us for any future guidance on this aviation, not only aviation, but any other guidance or any other career you want us to pick it up. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.